Day two after the budget, we get a sense of what this really means for people when we get the analysis from various different think tanks, the post-mortem, as some people might call it. And one of the interesting things that's coming out at the moment is this. This is from the Institute for Fiscal Studies. They're pointing to the fact that the government says it wants to increase departmental spending in the coming years by 1%, not cutting it. And that looks like it's very generous, but here's the thing. You've got to divide it between different departments. Some departments have guaranteed increases in the coming years, so they're protected departments, things like health, things like defence. But that means there's less money left for everyone else. So unprotected departments, which have already seen about 20% real terms cut, are going to see another cut, 3.5% a year potentially in the coming years. Some people think maybe a new era of austerity as a result of these spending changes. And when you divide it by head of the population, look at these bars. They go down even further. So big cuts ahead if indeed those plans are going to be kept to, but some people say they may not be.
Government and opposition are joining in a conspiracy of silence in not acknowledging the scale of the choices and trade-offs that will face us after the election. They and we could be in for a rude awakening when those choices become unavoidable.
So that was Paul Johnson from the Institute for Fiscal Studies. Another big question they've been looking at is whether you're going to feel better off or worse off as a result of all the different policies we've heard about, not just in the budget, but previously. This was before the budget. And what this is doing is basically showing you whether you're better off, anything above the bar, or lower off by different income groups, from the poorest through to the richest. And you can see before this budget, most people were slightly worse off as a result of the different policies, largely because those income tax thresholds have been frozen, so more people get dragged into paying higher tax. But look at what happens as a result of what we've just heard about. So largely because of those cuts in national insurance, you can see those bars go up. You're getting a bit more money. And when you net them off, so just work out the overall increase, because you've got a bit of plus and a bit of minus there, here's what it shows. Actually, all but the richest are slightly better off as a result of these policies this year. But that's the key thing. This year, move forward a few years and look at what happens to this line. It's above the kind of 0 point, but then it goes to below the 0 point, because by 2027 to 28, all but the poorest will be worse off. And that's because more people are going to be dragged into paying higher levels of tax. Now, it's worth just saying, right now, you probably maybe don't feel better off. It's partly because the overall economy, so that leaving aside those changes there, the overall economy has really not been doing very well. This is showing you over different parliaments just how much increase there has been in your real household disposable income, the pound in your pocket, essentially. And you can see every parliament going back to the 1950s, it got higher, things got better. But now look at what's happened in this parliament. Really striking there. It's the first time there's been a fall, going back as far as these numbers have existed, underlining there is still so much to be done to try to increase what economists might call the feel-good factor.